I first found out about the repression of freedom of speech in Kuwait while playing a simple game on my phone. This game, episode, claimed that the Kuwaiti government was so controlling that it banned its citizens from dancing. Unfortunately, I now know this to be true. The government prohibits any dancing in public. Even as small as a head bop is not allowed. Of all the 196 countries in the world, over 90 have human rights limitations. Kuwait is the country we will be focusing on today because of its extreme restrictions on human rights. For over 20 years, Kuwait has been a part of the ICCPR, or the International Covenant on Civil and Political Politics. The ICCPR is a multilateral treaty formed by the United Nations whose purpose is to enforce human rights. Kuwait, being a part of this treaty, is expected and required to follow its guidelines, yet it still doesn't. Kuwait is set to be the first country in the world to require all of its citizens, expatriates, and visitors to give DNA through either saliva or blood. Kuwaiti officials say that this measure was taken to ensure public safety, but what it's really doing is taking away a citizen's right to privacy. Anyone who fakes their samples could face up to 7 years in prison, and anyone who voices their opinion on the matter could face jail time. This is just a small ounce of how the government abuses rights. The government limits most of the people's rights by monitoring their statuses online. This takes away both the people's right to use devices freely and the right to freedom of speech. People using blogs, online journalism, or social media as criticizing their government will earn them jail time. Criticizing the emir, the head of Kuwait, will have the same effect. The Kuwait laws state that any insulting of religion will put them in jail as well. Although only a few hundred have been stripped of their citizenship or incarcerated for speaking against their government, all of the 3 million people living in Kuwait live in the constant fear of saying the wrong thing, even though Article 36 of their Constitution grants them the freedom of speech and expression. In the United States Constitution, the First Amendment grants freedom of speech. Our country was built on the idea that freedom of speech encourages understanding and advances the truth. This amendment safeguards even the most controversial and offensive speech, even if it means criticizing the government. The fact that American citizens are allowed to say almost whatever they want, with the small exclusion of things, without having to worry about government punishment, is the opposite of Kuwait. It's true that the Kuwaiti Constitution embraces the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It's not true it enforces these things. It's true that the United States is one of Kuwait's major allies. It's not true that it's doing anything to help solve the problem of freedom of speech in Kuwait. It's the United States' responsibility to help protect basic natural rights of citizens throughout the world. We, as an ally to Kuwait and a country founded on the idea of human rights for all, need to help get involved and solve the problems in Kuwait. This may not mean physically putting American troops on the ground, but speaking to the Emir of Kuwait and putting both economical pressure and the pressure of world opinion on him. If this doesn't happen, and the United States continues to sit back and watch, then the millions of opinions will be suppressed because of a government which threatens them.